You're listening to Up the Turnpike with hosts Mitch Anderson and Matt O'Leary.
What is going on, Isles fans? Matt O'Leary and Mitch Anderson here with you for a Up the Turnpike video. Mitch, some tough news this afternoon for the New York Islanders. How you feeling?
Usually I'm bouncing around at the beginning of these videos because of that music, but even that couldn't get me to bounce. This is tough.
It is tough. If you missed it, Mathew Barzal, it was announced that he is out indefinitely with 30 games to go. Would be surprised if he is back at any point this year. It's not like they officially said his season is over. He's done for the year, but in Lou Lamoriello terms, out indefinitely is usually not a good sign.
Yeah, no, that's usually not a good sign because he's very much a GM. He said it before of if you've got time, take it. And he's not going to rush guys back. But holy hell, man, that's a big loss. We saw that big loss against Florida, who like we played relatively well against, but without Mathew Barzal, we lost a big catalyst to our offense. And this isn't the first time this year either, right?
No, he's missed significant time already this year. He's missed 22 games, was able to come back and was playing pretty well. Once coming back, it felt like he was clicking with Bo Horvat. And Anders Lee was moved up there with them at points, and they've rotated a lot of guys up there. But during the win streak, he was a really big part of their success. And, you know, usually this offense goes how Mathew Barzal goes. But again, with this injury news, and he gets hurt blocking a shot too. It's just like really frustrating for that to potentially be the end of his season. But it's going to have a major impact on this, like not only how they play individually the rest of the way, but also on top of that, how they handle their season from a trade perspective.
Yeah. So just on the immediacy, like I think all of us are pretty well versed with the number of injuries we've had, but just to reiterate that, Mathew Barzal out indefinitely, Noah Dobson still out, Scott Mayfield day to day, it seems as far as Lou Lamoriello said just recently, Ryan Pulock out for a while, no indication there. Mike Riley, who knows, probably not coming back anytime soon. Semyon Varlamov also gone, or not. I haven't heard
out
anything.
Indefinitely.
Yeah. And then same thing with Marcus Hoiberg. 2/3 of our goalies are gone. Most of our defense is gone. And now we lost our star player.
Yeah, the hits just keep coming. And look, the win streak was really fun. They rattled off 7 wins in a row. And it was fun to, you know, ride that wave and watch some good hockey. You know, they lose, unfortunately, last night or, you know, late afternoon to the Florida Panthers, a team that's significantly better than them anyway. And also, like, with the amount of injuries that piled up for the Islanders, I don't think anyone was all too surprised with the end result. But it feels like a very quick snap back to reality here for the Islanders and their fans.
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't going to feel great. You have a big loss down the middle or on the wing at least with Mathew Barzal, and in terms of, you know, goal creation. But if there's a silver lining for those who are hoping that we still challenge for a playoff position and we try to win a Stanley Cup, the Islanders went 9-7-5 without Mathew Barzal this year in the games that he missed between basically the entire month of November and half of December. They went 9-7-5, -4 goal differential. There's a possibility they could still win enough games and get into that playoff picture, even without Barzal. I don't necessarily share that opinion.
No.
But we've also been there before, right? When Mathew Barzal went down last year for a number of games, we said if he misses 6 games or more, we're done. And we were very much not done. So who knows? Maybe this galvanizes them and they kind of us versus them type of situation. They turn in some performances, but that I don't know if I believe that. I would not buy that.
No, I don't buy it either. And maybe that's a good segue point to get into. Is Lou Lamoriello buying or selling now? What's your feel on how the general manager reacts to this? I'm curious what you have to say. I feel very strongly on my stance.
I know what I want him to do, but I've wanted him to do that for a while. And I'm sure you're going to kind of say the same thing. But every time that we had a significant injury, he went fishing, right? He pulled out Tony DeAngelo. He pulled up Scott Perunovich. He pulled out Adam Boquist. Every time we had a big injury, he went and pulled. Now, a few of those guys kind of happened to be there. Actually, all of them happened to be there, really. Maybe not Scott Perunovich, but at least Tony DeAngelo and Adam Boquist happened to be there for him to pick up. There isn't that necessary player in terms of replacing Mathew Barzal. There's no one is being sent on the waiver wire who's scoring at nearly or at a point per game. There's no one just sitting there without a contract coming over from another league, as far as I know, that is playing at that rate. So I don't think he's going to go fishing because I can't imagine who he's going to pick up. But who the hell knows, man? He just might.
I hope not. My strong feeling is that the Islanders need to sell off pieces in what very much so feels like a lost year. Barzal is going to end up missing, assuming he doesn't play again, he'll miss 52 games of this year. Duclair missed a significant amount of time. You had Pelech, Pulock, Dobson, Mayfield, all missed significant time. That's just the tip of the iceberg there. And like, Brock Nelson's a center with 30 goal potential. Sell him off. If someone wants JG Pajot, sell him off. Kyle Palmieri, if someone wants Palmieri or Tony DeAngelo, sell them off. Whatever you can. Just they need to retool this thing, and I just don't see how they're going to be able to stay afloat with everything they've endured this year.
Yeah, I know. I am right there with you. I totally agree that is the case, the way to go, and do it as soon as humanly possible. I mean, as soon as humanly possible, assuming like you're still getting a decent return for these guys. But like at the rate that our players are falling, you got to move Brock Nelson. You only have 3 games right before the start of the Four Nations face-off. Get it done. Oh my God! If the offer is good enough or decent, don't try to hold on for the next 2 to 3 weeks, because at the rate that our players are falling, he's going to get injured. It's the same thing with Kyle Palmieri. Like, I'm not one for rushing it, and I know Lou certainly isn't, but like, holy hell, statistically speaking, like all of our guys are going to fall off in a second or two.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, and I know you're not either, like trade him just for the sake of
Right.
trading him and take whatever you can get. But considering he is the number 1 forward on the market, I'm sure there's people who have called with some pretty sizable offers for Brock Nelson.
Yeah, it's just, if you've got a good offer, maybe I shouldn't say that because then it's rushing it, and I know Lou won't do it, so I'm setting myself up for disappointment. I would just hate, and I'm worried, and this might be unreasonable or irrational and to have that worry, because as I said earlier, statistically speaking as well, on the flip side, we've had so many goddamn injuries that someone's got to stay healthy the entire year. Right? Like, we remember the COVID season, only Zach Parise played 82 games. So statistically speaking, someone has to stay healthy. Let that be the guys that are, trade worthy. Please.
Yeah, I would hope so. And like you mentioned, you kind of just run the risk of continuing to trot those guys out there and then they suffer an injury, which is the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. But again, like, just want to reiterate from my side, I feel very strongly on it. Unless you are somehow in this world where you could trade for someone who is either under contract for a long, significant time, who's 27 years old or younger, or like an RFA. Yeah, you know who I mean. Or if there's some other 26-year-old or younger guy who's with term or a pending RFA, there's obviously exceptions to the rule. That would be one of them. But for the most part, this is a sell job.
I think so. I think this is the hockey gods, if you will, if you believe in that, saying, Lou, no, you need to retool, bud. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
To me, that's the only positive. It sucks that these guys are injured, and I don't want them to be injured at all. But the silver lining, not only is like maybe they can be good, but it's maybe this allows us to hit that retool button. Not rebuild, but retool.
Fingers crossed. With the injury, the Islanders were lining up this other forward group looked last night. So it was Lee, Horvat, Duclair, top line, Siplikov, Nelson, Palmieri, second line, Cizikas, Pajot, Holmstrom, third line, and Engvall, McLean, Gatcomb as the fourth line. I would expect to see the same thing rolling forward until someone gets moved.
Yeah, like, it's not awful. That's not an awful lineup, really, when you think about it, but it's not a great lineup considering who they could
Yeah.
have in it. So, but again, hopefully, if you're on camp, I still want to compete. There's a still again 9-7-5 without Mathew Barzal. But if you're in team retool, this is the out, I believe, to allow that to happen. And I think
There you go.
Right? Yeah, of course you do. What am I saying?
Yes. So I think we leave it there for now on this tough injury, tough news today. But let us know what you think down below in the comments. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give a like before you get out of here. I'm Matt. He's Mitch, and we will catch you next time.